Thank you very much. I hope people can see me. If you can see me, just give a little mention. That would be fabulous. So, welcome today. I hope everybody, we had a little bit of a flash storm here, a little bit of snow flying all over the place. It was kind of fun. I was out walking in it when it first started. But it was a lovely day overall. It was nice to have a little bit of sun, and storms are good too. I think it's almost like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm feeling like there's been like a lot of clearing this week. So I'm interested to see how this reading unveils, because again, I've gone back to our angel tarot cards because that's what was called, had me calling today. But I love these angels and ancestors. So I don't really have anything on top of mind that's coming to fruition. Actually, the only thing I'd like to know is if you guys prefer the 7 o'clock reveal or the 7:30. I just posted a little thing on Instagram. So if you guys can drop in again, if you would like to see a 7 o'clock reveal or a 7:30 reveal. I kind of like the 7 o'clock, but you let me know. This is for you, right? So today, again, we've got our angels and ancestors, which I love these cards, especially as overarching, because a lot of times that is the role of our ancestors, right? That they came before us, they influenced us through, their very existence, and the fact that they created somebody who created somebody who created somebody who created us, depending on how far back you go. But our ancestors also have, the thing that's really neat, yes, we have generational trauma, but we also have pride in the stories in which come to us, right? And part of those stories are myths. Like on my mother's side, we have one was a traitor and one was a murderer in Scotland, in the Maxwell clan. So that's one of them. I know that on my Australian side, it was funny because there was no convicts until there was convicts, and in a place that started with 50% convicts, or a large portion of them. Unfortunately not including Aboriginals. There had to be something, somewhere. But anyways, so a part of our ancestral roots are the stories that we tell, right? And that's part of our family heritage. You get your stubbornness from your father's side, or your mother's side as a creative. We still haven't found anybody in my family's either side where my intuition came from, so I have no idea. I guess again, I kept joking as a kid about finding my mothership, So, but these stories, these myths, are really what magic is all about. Because we look at magic and we look at things like Charmed or witchcraft and Wiccan and all that kind of stuff, and really, it is the words that we use, but a prayer can be magical, right? I know that when I was working in this one office, they had angel cards, just the little teeny tiny angel cards. And we would gather, a group of us, somebody had them at their desk, and we would all go and pull one of these angel cards every day. And there was a guy there that was, had a religious look at things. And he's like going, well, you don't believe in that, do you? And it's like, well, what do you do on Sundays when you go to church? You pray. So, whoops, there we go. So that keeps going. So when we talk about magic is a belief, right? Magic is a story that sustains us. Magic is calling upon a focus and an intention. Now, not getting into all the, the fae people, the fairies, the goddesses and the gods, because that's where I think a lot of times mischievous spirits sometimes get a bad rap. I'm not saying that there can't be influences from the other side that are less than positive. But I'm just saying that for the most part, our ancestors are here, our guides, they're here to help us, right? So when it comes to magic, it's all about developing a relationship, right? And this is the great thing about faith is you either believe or you don't. And there's always that point in the road where you have to believe, you have to walk the walk you talk. And when you do, and I know this is, we talked about this recently, I think, like, you know, a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about when you're getting downloads, one of the things was, you know, I know that somebody watches this reveal on a somewhat regular basis. She would have, you know, people that had crossed over come and start talking to her. And so when that first starts happening, we get, you know, we can get scared, right? Because it's not what we're used to. So magic is really, if we believe that we are not here alone, I'm not getting into aliens or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just talking about, like when I had this fall a little over, like 2 weeks ago today, actually. 2 weeks ago today, I had this fall. And I really should have cracked my head open. I should have hurt myself a lot worse. And I didn't. And I know, and I'm grateful for my guides and my angels that helped it, that laid me down in a manner in which I didn't damage myself. And sort of, I look at it as a little bit of a wake-up call. That's my interpretation of how and why that happened. Because I've been questioning certain things and asking to be awakened in certain ways. And sometimes we don't, you know, Mike Dooley talks about the deadly hows. Our greatest problem with having everything at our fingertips is that we also believe that we have to figure out how everything's going to show up. And we don't, right? We just have to believe in what we're believing in and then let it go, right? And then literally let it go. So that's what magic is, really. Magic is the prayers that we say, the rituals that we keep, you know, the prayer, as I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my soul to keep. All those kinds of things. That's magic, right? It's just how we look at the ritual and the belief system that goes with it. So with that in mind, this is the first time, again, I've just started. I think I'm going to be using these for overarching cards for a few weeks from now because I want to explore them. And I think that it really fits in the overarching position. So Magick Guardian, unlock the magic within. Look at this beautiful card. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, beautiful. And again, so there's, so we have the palm open. Okay, so let's see what it says. Stop looking outside of yourself and recognize that you have incredible power within. Magic with a K is the energy of the universe that allows you to manifest and create through direction and the power of your will. It changes according to your frequency. The Magick Guardian is a representation of the angel of magic who helps you direct your will to bring something into creation. She is the angel who swirls around shamans and wise ones when they are calling on the energy of magic to help them manifest something that will be healing and supportive to their path. She is the angel of all magic that is directed for the highest good of whoever is working for it. And you will hear quite a few, anybody that does readings, a lot of times they'll add on to anything. You know, this is my wish, this is my will. And may this have, you know, for the highest good of all is tagged on at the end, right? Because a lot of times, and we've talked about this a couple weeks ago, and I know myself for sure, I've been a sort of transient person because I know when I'm being called to be somebody else's angel. You know, that sometimes we're called upon to deliver that magic, right? So that's why we need to follow that instinct in our heart to turn right or turn left or go into that store or take your phone with you or whatever that is, okay? Um, you are the magic. You are the answer. You have it all within you. If you've been searching for your answer or for a reason to focus, recognize that all you are looking for is already within you. And I see little, Dorothy with the little red shoes, click, click. You are a powerful and magical person with the capacity to direct your intentions and will your desires into being. But your power can only be powerful when you own it. So take time to acknowledge it, your ability to dedicate yourself to a goal and make it happen. And make it happen is a real gift that you are being guided to recognize right now. Oh, I love that. And if you see, let's just take another look at this. Do you see her other palm is facing out? So one, she's got the smudging, right? So she's cleansing her space. And then she's, of course, got the angel, the wings. But, the other thing is, we were just talking today with another group that I'm with about the difference between helping and being of service. Right? So, you know what? I'll go off on another tangent with that. But, sometimes the thing that scares us the most is how little intention it takes for us to actually create something, for us to actually manifest it. And that's when it freaks us out, right? I know that I joke about this all the time, that I have the Psychic Friends Network. There's my one friend now. We're down to about half a day, maybe like I would say within a 12-hour period, where I think about her and she calls or texts. And so I want you to notice things like that, because that's basically where you're getting that's your manifesting power. So that is your magic, right? So that is your magic. So again, the Magick Guardian right now is asking us to be aware of what we bring to the table when it comes to magic or power, the power of intention. Okay, so let's get into the cards. We're back with the Angel Tarot cards. So today, card number 1 is our 5 of Air. Now, anything that's a 5, first of all, anything that's an air is your mental faculty. It's the power of the mind. It's the power of our thoughts. It's the power of our intentions. These beautiful unicorns. So the thing is, though, with any 5 is, I describe it as the honeymoon's being over, and you have that little point where you sort of look around and go, and this is, this happens in just about everything. It's our expectations that get in the way. Our expectations are what leads to disappointment. Our expectations are what get in the way of the greatest power of all, and that is just to allow things to unfold instead of getting into that how, right? So 5 of Air, an unwise choice, learn what you can from the situation, review everyone's motives. So this is, when it comes to anything that's in the air, an air card, air is it's not just about us creating the situation. It's the words that we use when we speak to ourselves. It's the words we use when we set our intentions. It's the words that we use, mostly the way we speak to ourselves, right? So what you want to be able to do is, with the 5 of Air, is that a lot of times, people get into things, including us, and we think we're doing it for one reason, but we're not. We find out when we get into the middle of it, oh, this isn't really the way that I wanted to go. It's really something else. And maybe you end up working with somebody and it ends up being, oh, this isn't the way that I really planned on it to go. And, oh, that person's not really the same thing, on the same page I really thought they were. Because sometimes we look through lenses where we want to see the best in everybody and in everything. But also, maybe our needs, our calling, our whatever. And because we have this magic card, this Magick Guardian, I want you to, basically these last few weeks have been all about really acknowledging your gifts and really embodying your gifts, right? To be walking that walk and talking that talk. So while 5s represent challenges, they always do. Because that's it. There has to be that point where it's like, oh, okay. But there's always a way for you to learn, okay, You know what this is helping me do? It's helping me focus better. You know what this is helping me do? It's helping me realize that when I go into business with somebody, or when I start this project with somebody, or when I'm hanging around with this person, if I get that inkling that the way that they talk is sort of demeaning, or maybe they're just not as nice as I thought they were. And it's not about being nice, because a lot of times if we work with people, or if we get into, doing a project, it's not about necessarily being nice. It's about a respectful workplace. And there's a big difference between those things, because some people are just really blunt. I don't know if you guys have ever worked with somebody that comes like any kind of German descent. A lot of times they're just very direct. I love that stuff, but I'm a fire. I'm direct too. So sometimes it's like, woo, but you have to be, it helps you. So that can be a way where you can learn to work with others better, because as you go through life, you're going to meet other people that's like this. So that's really what I think the 5 of air is. Whatever it is that you're asking about this week, if you've had that one, you got to be able to say, is this really what I'm signing on for? And really get clear on whether it's the words you're using, your expectations, or if it's really about somebody else. So it says an unwise choice, and it says here, the situation hasn't worked out the way you'd hoped, but you can try again. Your power lies not in how the chips fall, but how you handle yourself moving forward. You may now feel the cost of this venture is too high. Carefully evaluate the way events have transpired in order to gain valuable lessons for your future. Someone in this situation isn't coming from a place of integrity, and that's really cool. That's really important. Learning to read your intuition is huge, especially when it comes to other people or situations, right? The desire to win is so strong that this individual will ignore others' needs, review everyone's motives, including your own, and do what you can to foster a win-win resolution. So again, this is really, and that's why anybody has ever asked, there's no such thing as a bad card. There's challenging cards. There's challenging situations. But you can't tell me that you haven't learned the most when it comes to things that are challenging. I mean, I know for me, that's my situation. It's usually the more challenging, the more I learn. I'm getting better at doing the celebration of the wonderful wins as well. And when things are going really well, the opposite is I do Just Talking with Aisha Dami Magueda on Sunday nights on my Gwenda Lambert Life Starts Now page. And every time we talk, like, we're getting into this groove where it's like we just talk and it just opens up this whole other thing, and just learning so much stuff about things and people. And I just love having the conversations because they always go down a neat place. So again, we didn't start it with any kind of expectation, and I think that's what makes it wonderful. So that's sort of the opposite of the 5 of air. So that's just an example that a lot of times, if you don't follow the how, like where it's just like, hey, you want to do this? And that's literally how it started. I don't know, we'll just talk about stuff. And so that's the kind of thing that we're really being called upon with this Magick Guardian, right? Is make sure that your intuition is leading you, that's the part that's taking you forward. So card number 2, and again, this is backing this up too, only this is anybody that, I think we did get somebody that chose card 1 and 2 this week. So card number 2 is the High Priestess. She's just stunning. Card 2 in the Major Arcana. So this is like our Oracle card, Archangel Haniel. So High Priestess is all about intuition. It's all about the feminine, the divine feminine within. It's all about connecting with our insight. This is all about intuition, all about dreams. Listen to your intuition, have patience, consider carefully what you want before acting. So the thing is that out of these 2 cards, there's especially because I know that there was somebody that chose card 1 and 2. The thing out of this is, again, a lot of times our intuition comes to us in different ways, right? So it either comes like, for me, I know a lot of times if I get a tightness in the throat, that means that I don't feel free to speak. I know a lot of people, they get a tightness in their gut, in their solar plexus, possibly in their sacral, which is, they start getting boo-boo tummy or excited. I call it boo-boo tummy because I have these technical terms. But what the High Priestess is all about is making sure that that we can read our own selves, and especially with this Magic Guardian. I'm very excited because I chose card 2 this week. Actually, I have my own other reading, but you drew this card because the answers you seek lie in your feelings and emotions. Trust your intuition. Now, if you see in the 5 of Air, part of it about the 5 of Air is the fact that you're being called upon. So if we look at it, when we get a cycle card, which is the Ace to 10, that's a cycle. So we would get through one of these cycles, this and or water, but more so with the air. And the air is all about owning our faculties, owning our mental faculties. So the High Priestess would be one of those that would be at the end of this kind of cycle, because this is about the words that we use. It is about intention, but it's more about vocabulary. This is all about how we talk to ourselves. And as we come through that, because you do learn through these challenges, you do learn to read, learn what you can from this situation. So when it comes to other people's motives, did you feel that intuition? Did you feel something along the way that you disregarded? And so that will end up leading you to what the High Priestess is all about, right? And so this is where, if you do your own cards, or if you do cards on a regular basis, it's really interesting to watch as those cards transform, as you move through these patterns, as you move through these cycles, right? So there's no need to race into action right now with our High Priestess. However, instead, take time to gain more insight, so that since things may not be as they appear on the surface. And this is like the same with High Priestess and the Moon, because a lot of times things are hidden, and at night in our dreams, that's when messages come to us the most, right? So there's no need to race into action. Withdraw from the noise of daily life and ask for guidance from your angels and guides. Everything you need to know will be revealed in time. Just have patience. So additional meanings for this: silence is golden. Study spiritual topics. Keep your dreams and desires to yourself. Learn from emotional situations. So, Archangel Haniel is the godlike angel of grace and femininity, or feminine spirituality, such as intuition and clairvoyance. Like a true High Priestess, Haniel will act as your spiritual teacher. So I guess, the thing is, especially anybody that chose 1 and 2, or anybody that chose 2, especially with this Magick Guardian, again, I think, and we've been seeing this over the last few weeks, only this is getting really specific if you look at it, right? Like from the downloads part, which I believe was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, we've seen this continual thing where even though this is talking about, taking time for yourself, it's more about understanding how you work, right? How your gifts work, how your connection is. And again, it's not like, and this is the kind of boring part, right? It's like, I have these wild dreams where I literally can play out. This is one of the crazy ones, but this guy that I was dating, we had just broken up, I was like a teenager, and this is a really weird one, but it was like, I hadn't seen him for a while or whatever. And I actually knew what he was with this woman, and I knew the color of the room, where the house was. It was completely bizarre. And so those kinds of things, when you get those kinds of things, because the thing is, we can't live like that every single day. Like people that do dead people, I'm not that person. And I think a lot of it depends on how open we are to that going on. But it's all up to us to know how to utilize and not expect. It's like, oh, every day I want a divine intervention. I want a big dream. It's like, no, actually, I'm okay just learning how to read if this is the right direction for me. That's good enough for me. I don't need to be odd every single day. I hope that makes sense, because that's really coming through. And I think that's the other thing with magic, right? Magic is just being, right? It's just being and having an attention. Please allow my heart to be clear. Allow me, ho'oponopono. let me clear the lens so that my love can flow, so that my light can flow more and more freely. So that's card number 2. So, and again, that would be an interesting thing to watch or explain how a cycle might go with those different cards. So card number 3 is beautiful because it's a 2 of fire. So we have our fire in our last card, which is card number 3. 2 of fire. Oh, spunky. So fire is creativity. Fire is action. I call this the throwing spaghetti at the wall. You've come into your own, new partnerships or contracts, continue to move forward. So again, anything that's the 2 is the beginning of a cycle. Anything that's the 2 of fire, again, fire is about, it's not just intuition, it's more about expression of whatever it is that matters to you. And I hope that makes sense. So, we get creative impulses, the ace or the 2. You may not want to tell everybody about it, but it's like for instance, last Thursday, I was wakened at 4 a.m. and I needed to write down this stuff. This download came 4 a.m. I needed to write it down. I couldn't do anything but that. So when you're at that point, part of that is being able to embrace that creativity and not figure out, again, so the deadly how is really, so this is Mike Dooley. Anybody that's familiar with him or not, look him up. He just talks about the deadly hows. So what happens with the 2 of fire? Don't question where this is coming from. Just follow your instincts. Everything this week is about follow your instincts, follow your intuition, learn how your intuition, your creativity, your connection to your higher self, learn and embrace how those messages come to you. So that's really what the 2 of fire is. And the 2 of fire, look at the dragons. Don't they look cute? The dragons. Oh, they're little babies. So I don't know why I did that. This time is coming. This is a time of coming into your own. The steps you are taking to improve your career or business are on the right track. As you move forward, courageous choices are necessary and will be rewarded. Continue forging ahead and don't be discouraged by temporary delays. Also, don't allow anyone to hinder your progress. Consider working in partnership with those whose skills complement your own. Joint endeavors can help you achieve your goals. Negotiations move smoothly at this time. So excellent foresight, hope for the future. Contracts and business agreements, which is rather, and again, it's a partnership. Anything that's a 2 is usually about partnership, right? It's about coming together, getting somebody in there. So again, the thing I would tell anybody, especially if you got card 3, keep this Magick Guardian in mind when she says, go in the direction of your heart, follow your instinct, follow your creative impulse. It may not make sense to you right now, but that's not the biggest thing right now. It's like you've just got a new vehicle and you're trying to figure out how to turn on that rear windshield wiper and spray the fluid on the back. So look at that. Like you're like a vehicle and you're still, there's no harm in reading the user's manual, but there's also no harm with just clicking things and seeing how they move. And it's funny because today I was dreaming about a motorcycle. Because obviously I'm going to have to get another bike because I can't, it's literally, I think about them so much. But it was like today I was thinking about clutching because clutch, 1 down, 4 up is how you do the gears, which is what I love is like, and so any bike that you would get on and it would be, you would clutch, clutch down, clutch up. And so you would move through that before you even took off. So that's like just making sure that you know how everything's moving. So that's really, so see yourself as a motorcycle. You can be powerful, you can open her up, you can give her, but you need to know how to change the gears and you need to know where the brakes are. Okay, I hope that's made sense because I really did have a good ramble this week, even though I said I wasn't going to have one, but such is life. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I love you all, and we shall see you next week Tarot Tuesday. Let me know if you like 7 p.m. instead of 7:30, and we shall see you then. Okay, take care. Love you.